My fiance, M, 37, doesn't want to marry me, F, 34. So, a little context for the beginning. We have been together for 5 years. Last January, 2 months short of our anniversary, I told him I would like to get married. He was reluctant at first, but he proposed in October. It was organized in a surprisingly romantic way for him. He kneeled, opened the ring box and asked if I would like to hike. Sail. Insert an activity we do. With him a little more. Like. For the rest of our lives. We have been together for 5 years. With a 7 months break in 2018-19 when we broke up. We have been living together since the beginning. He just started staying at my place. A rented room. Bringing his stuff. And it stayed this way. For the past year we have been living in an apartment he bought with a mortgage. In the past month I began to push to start organizing the wedding. I knew I would probably do the most of the organizing. But I was okay with it. He was not really responsive. I asked him, "You are dragging your feet. Do you want to get married at all?" He said, "Not really." The conversation ended with, "I hope it's just a temporary crisis." Because proposing a marriage and then backing out would be a shitty thing to do. Then last weekend on our way to short vacation, I brought up this topic again. Now, one thing you have to know is that in our country you can get married in 2 ways. 1. In the church, signing the civil documents after the ceremony. 2. At the civil registrar office if you are not religious. Sometimes when people choose number 2 they also go for a humanistic wedding ceremony. If they want something more, well, ceremonial. So when we talked, my fiancé said that he proposed with an intention of having the humanistic ceremony only, not legally binding one. I was shocked. First of all, because it seems unsincere, as he never openly stated he doesn't want to be legally married. Second, because humanistic weddings are always an addition to a civil ceremony. Without going to the registrar office is just a theater. It literally doesn't happen ever that people have just a humanistic ceremony. Third, because we wanted a prenuptial agreement anyway. So it's not that he risks much in case of a divorce. And it was my idea. He says he doesn't want some civil officer to come and regulate what's between us. May I add that he has nothing against civil officers regulating other aspects of his life. He is not an anarchist. He pays taxes, votes in elections. So I call it BS. In 2 weeks I'm going abroad for work for a month. I hated it, but I gave him an ultimatum. Once I'm back, I want to have his decision and we have 2 options only. Either we get properly, legally married or we end this relationship. I am shattered and lost. Is there something else I can or should do? Get some psychological help? Go for couples therapy? Am I being manipulated? Is it gaslighting? Should I move out from his place now? Edit. I came back home today and now he wants an official wedding. So in the past week he wanted no marriage at all, non-official marriage, official marriage, eternal engagement. I told him not to rush with the decision and I want the answer by the time I'm back from abroad, so he still has 6 weeks to go. And I need to think about it as well. Because marriage is like consensual sex, you need an enthusiastic yes. If your fiancé doesn't want to marry you, he's your boyfriend, not your fiancé. Seeing as you reasonably want a marriage, it's probably time to call it quits on the relationship. He doesn't want to be married, and he's not going to let you force him. He will try to call your bluff since you didn't do it before he proposed of when he told you he didn't want to be married. He thinks you're going to just stick around and deal with the situation. Take control and end it with this man before you waste any more time. I did this and wasted all of my 20s on a man who would never marry me. I have ultimatums and he still wouldn't, and my stupid ass stuck around anyway. I finally ended it because he cut off all intimacy, so we were more like roommate friends than a couple. But I regret sticking around that long for nothing. End it and start working on moving on. I am sorry you wasted 5 years of your life, but I am not sure you will be happy if you do get married, because he seems to be doing it only because you are making him. Darling, he doesn't want to marry you. Stop wasting your time. You know the benefits of marriage. And you want them. And the protection that matrimony offers. He got comfortable and doesn't want to change. Just leave. You are young, beautiful, and smart. You'll find someone who wants what you want. The teens on here getting on your back do not understand what marriage truly is. More than a mere piece of paper. Please leave. Don't tell him anything beyond the fact that you're incompatible. Don't argue. Just end it. If you tell him, he'll get serious for a little while. Then he'll start trying to sabotage the relationship, so you will end it. Save yourself the immaturity and heartache. Leave now. You're worth more than being a mere lifetime GF. Or a baby mama. It sounds like he didn't want to propose and only did it because you gave an ultimatum. And now the truth about how he feels has come out. Do you really want to be with somebody you have to force to propose to you? Wanting marriage isn't making you an evil, controlling, pressuring person like some other commenters. Or making you out to be. You stated what you wanted. He went out of his way to seemingly go along with this some time later. Now, when it's time to actually follow through on it, he's backing out. It's been 5 months since you got engaged. Plenty of time to begin planning it without rushing right away. He's showing and telling you he doesn't want marriage. You do. The answer is to accept that and respect yourself and what you want. This relationship isn't going to give you what you want. You should be with someone who after 5 years is excited to marry you. Were you planning on having kids? Or buying property together? 'Cause all of that is usually better done under a legal marriage. If marriage is a must for you, then this is not the relationship you need to be in. Enough of your time was wasted. I would just ask yourself these questions. 1. Do I want to marry if it isn't with him? 2. Do I want to marry? If so, it's clearly not going to be with him. 3. If I stay, will I resent this in the future? How sure are you that he's not already married? Listen to what he's saying. He doesn't want to get married. You can't get married when one person wants to and the other doesn't want to. The person who doesn't wins by default. I learned this the hard way. Cut your losses and walk away. Your ultimatum will not work. I know how bitter this is. I'm sorry. This is already clearly a shifty man you don't want to marry unless you like messy divorces. Don't do this. He sucks. I had an eerily similar situation. I did actually marry the idiot, and then his behavior and mistreatment got 10 times worse because he truly felt he had a legal claim to me. When we split up, he screamed at me that I had pushed him into marriage. No, buddy, we agreed to it together and I had to drag your ass through a planning process while you scrolled on your phone. But you chose this. Don't be stupid like me. Get out now. You deserve better. If marriage is just a piece of paper, and no big deal, he should have no trouble signing that piece of paper if he truly loved and cared about you. Right? But marriage is more than that. It's a commitment. And one he really doesn't appear to want to make. Up. You truly deserve better than to give all of yourself, heart and soul, to a man who takes and takes from you, then only gives you what he wants you to have in return. Think about it. Please love yourself enough to walk away from this person. Dump him. Don't make my mistake of going all in and wasting almost 2 decades on a loser. He does not want to marry you. Period. If that was all it was. And he straight out told you this. I would recommend you think about what is important to you, and either leave if you want marriage to be the end goal of your relationship, or stay and stop bringing up marriage if it's not a deal breaker for you. This is not just that, though. He's manipulating you and being deceptive to intentionally give you a false impression of whether he wants to marry you so that he can continue to have what he wants while taking away your ability to make an informed decision. That means that in addition to your goals not aligning, he's selfish and deceptive. Why would anyone stay with someone like that? Sounds like your fiance is a shell of a human being. He doesn't want to get married. He's going along with it because the alternative is uncomfortable. Why waste any more time with him if his path isn't aligned with yours? You can see it, right? You are pressuring him into doing something he clearly isn't ready for or has no interest in doing. I think this is a miscalculation on your part. If he agrees to your ultimatum, then the whole rest of your marriage will be built on an unstable foundation. If you do still want to marry him, then I say see what happens when you return. This might not be fixable though. Hard to tell with the info we have. It's up to you if you want to give him this chance. But in my opinion, this isn't going to work out at all. Even if he says he will legally marry you when you come back, I imagine he would do so with a lot of resentment and potential regret. And I can't see this ending in a happy, loving, and working marriage. You both want different commitments out of life. And I think it would be better to stop prolonging this. But of course it's up to you whether you'll still extend him this ultimatum chance. Have you heard of the new Netflix show, The Ultimatum? I'll recommend giving it a watch during the month you are away. Spoiler alert, giving someone an ultimatum is not the best way to start a marriage. He's told you with his words and shown you with his actions that he does not want to marry you. You want to get married. He wants to stay together but not get married. Possibly with a wedding-shaped but legally meaningless commitment ceremony. There isn't really a middle ground compromise here. The two of you can do what you want. Get married. Do what he wants. Stay unmarried. Or you can do what neither of you wants. Break up. You've vetoed, stay unmarried. So I think you just need to stick to that veto unless you significantly change your mind. I don't think it's intentional gaslighting, manipulation. I think he loves you and wants to do things to make you happy, but has issues with getting married for some reason. I think he probably feels trapped between, I love this Puran, and, we have this fundamental long-term incompatibility. He's scared. But he needs to put his big boy pants on and stop trying to have it both ways.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.